So, I want to talk to you guys today about how drugs affect you in the long term and the really serious negative effects that drugs, hard drugs, prescription drugs have on your body and brain. I was a addict for 4 years, but I have been using hard drugs since I was 15. I'm now 27. I'll be 28 in a month or two. So I started using hard drugs at a very early age and without any seemingly noticeable effects, negative effects at least. So, I never was addicted until I was an adult. I didn't have a lot of negative effects, so I thought. Now, after coming out of a serious addiction, I I have a few thoughts that I want to give to people, especially young people who are thinking about using hard drugs. So, what happens is your body not only becomes dependent on it, so does your brain. You can't function properly like a normal person without these very heavy drugs. Not only is that super expensive to maintain, so think about, if you're an addict, think about your drug of choice as food. You need food to have energy. You need food to, survive. You're going to die without it pretty much. And your body, because of that, sends signals to your brain saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. And granted, most drugs you're not going to die if you don't have them, but it's the same type of signal that gets sent to your brain. So your brain is constantly in this state of, if I don't have this drug, I cannot perform correctly. Now, I've had this happen to me with several drugs. I was prescribed amphetamines, and I have that same thing that happens where if I don't have that amphetamine, I can't even get up out of bed. I'm just no energy. And this is a huge price to pay later on in your life. And not that much later on, I'm only 27 and this has been going on since, years ago. I want to be a go-getter. I want to get up and do things. I want to not have anxiety. I want to function properly. And I thought that when I broke my addiction, that was going to give me back my normalcy as a human. Well, no, that didn't happen. I've had, a half a year of being sober from my addiction, and I don't, I'm still not anywhere near normal. I still can't function properly. And I don't know that I ever will again. I don't know that I'll ever be okay or just normal. I want to be able to get up in the morning and do things and, possibly make YouTube videos or something and get the word out. I want to do a lot of things. I want to go to school, which I am working on. There are a few things in my life that have held me back. But the majority of what holds me back is because I chose to use drugs. And I, if I don't know if I could have had a magic crystal ball that showed me, what was going to happen to me if I had continued to use drugs, I don't know that I would have used drugs. If I could have seen what my life had become if I had continued to use drugs or use them at all, I don't know that I would have. I don't know that I would have used drugs. And this is so sad for me because in reality, I don't think anyone could have talked me out of it. When you're young, especially in your teenagers, you just think you know it all. I thought I knew it all. I thought, you know what? I like drugs. They make me feel happy. They're cool. I hang out with my friends, whatever the fuck I was thinking at the time. Well, guess what? Drugs aren't cool. They aren't cool. You know why? Because in your addiction, when you have to be home by yourself, it's just you there. It's just you and your piece of shit addiction. And I say piece of shit addiction because I'm meaning it's worthless, the addiction. It's fucking worthless. So most people, if not all, no, actually all people who are addicts for a reason. And that reason is pain. Every single addict that you'll meet was trying to fix pain. So it doesn't matter if it's physical pain or mental pain. Some people become addicts from their doctors because they have pain, you know, physical pain, and so they are prescribed opiates and they become addicted. Otherwise, a lot of times street drugs, you doing them to just feel okay. You want to feel okay. And, it is true, you become comfortably numb, and that's what you're going for. You're going for this, okay, I'm okay now. I'm okay. And so eventually, after you've been taking these drugs, your window of feeling okay gets so small. You've got to do more and more drugs just to have a small sliver of what it feels like to be okay. And eventually that bubble bursts and it inverts. You're not okay ever. No matter how many drugs you do, you're not okay. And in fact, you're worse than when you went in. Opiates are, the perfect example of a trap that the devil has laid to fucking destroy you. To just destroy you. So I want to get the word out to as many people as I can. I'll continue making podcasts and videos to try to support people who have addictions and let people know, if you already are addicted to drugs, there's a way out. It's called Kratom. I used it successfully. Many other people have used it successfully. It is the cure. Or if you are not an addict yet, but you are thinking about doing hard drugs or have tried them in the past, please listen to what I have to say. You don't need drugs. And if you are going through pain, mental pain especially, there's people that can help you with that. There are ways to deal with that long term, not short term where it's just going to damage you more. If your goal is to get better, drugs are not the way to do it. Street drugs, heavy drugs, drugs to get high. I'm not saying, antidepressants, or I'm not talking about those type of drugs. Those drugs do help a lot of people, and I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about heavy street drugs, cocaine, heroin, amphetamines, meth, these heavy, heavy drugs that, these trapdoor drugs, as I like to call them. They're a fucking trapdoor. You just can't get back out. And I feel grateful that I'm standing here and able to record this video because people die trying to jump over this hurdle that I have jumped over. People die trying. This is not an easy fucking task. It's not. And you need help to do it. So I feel like I have to give back to that community, and we are a community because we, not only do the outside people ostracize us, they make us feel guilty for just trying to feel better. We're not scum. We're not pieces of shit. We're not dumb. Okay. We may have been ignorant in the fact of, this drug is going to cause my life to spiral out of control. I don't know that any of us knew that when we started using these drugs. But regardless, the point is that I feel like I need to give back to this community because I have survived. Not many people do survive. It not only, okay, so you can probably get through the withdrawals, right? The withdrawals happen to a lot of people. And in fact, I'm going to make a bold claim that going through withdrawal is nothing. It's easy compared to the depression that will hit you after the fact. If the withdrawals don't get you, going back to drugs and then maybe you OD, if that doesn't kill you, the depression will get you. It's a trap. You're trapped. So the only way that I have been successful or know that other people have been successful in large numbers, so percentage-wise, I think 8% of people who go into rehab, make it. They succeed. That's like 92% of failure rate. So using Kratom gives you a much higher chance to be able to walk away from that addiction and get your life back on track and be a productive member of the world, be a productive member in your own life. How many times have we seen people who have lost everything to drugs and they still can't walk away. People who are not addicts or have never been an addict don't understand it. I've heard time and time again, well, you need to just toughen up or you need to be stronger or, no. That's not, no. Strength does not come into play here. Period. Well, maybe it does in a weird odd sense, but the fact of the matter is, how much control does a mere human have over the devil? And I like that analogy because it really says, it speaks to what is close to the truth. These drugs have a hold on your body and brain, like as if you are a mortal and you're dealing with a god. It's so difficult to get out of it. It's so difficult. And so now that Kratom has been, made aware to me and I got clean using it because I didn't even know what it was before, I feel like, well, the DEA and, they're trying to ban it and make it illegal, which is very eye-opening for me. I feel like, well, now we know you don't want us to get better. All this bullshit on the war on drugs and, we don't like drug dealers and drugs are bad and we hate people who use or, sell them. We want to make this country better. Well, no, you fucking don't, because when the cure lands on your lap, or it's been around, but when the cure comes, you try to ban it. And in fact, in the United States, they're trying to ban Kratom and have successfully in several Midwest states. And these are the states that have the fucking hardest hit opioid epidemic. These are the hardest hit states. And you are banning it and making it illegal to get Kratom? Are you joking? I am so fucking fortunate to have had the opportunity to get Kratom and use it and successfully jump over this massive hurdle that I truly in the beginning didn't think I was going to be able to jump over, but I fucking did. And it is due to mostly Kratom. I mean, I would say 100%, but it is true that, I had support from family and friends. However, I could have had all the support in the world. If I didn't have Kratom, I don't know that I ever would have been able to get clean. I either would have committed suicide or gone back to drugs. And I'm guessing that suicide would have been my option, looking, if I, am thinking about it. So anyway, that's all for today. I'll be posting more. I just want to get these thoughts off my brain and talk to you guys. And I hope that someone out there will learn from this. And also, if you want to know more about how much Kratom I use, where to buy it, how I got clean using Kratom, just leave a comment below or, send me a message and I will post a video on that topic to help people.